How's everyone doing today? I'm going to guess bad. Today is Thursday the 4th, 2021. I thought 2020 sucked balls, dude, and here we are, man. Not looking good. If you're in my Discord, if you listened to me last week, I said you should always have their ETFs on deck. You should have your SQQQs, your SPXS, that's it, and your Lab Ds ready to go. If you're in my Discord, I did say it. If it breaks 3,800, you should buy one, and hopefully some folks listened. If not, I totally get it. It's been a rough week for a lot of people. But if you're a beginner looking for some help, if you're confused why everyone's losing money around you, well, we're all losing money. Yay! That's kind of how this goes, where there's ups and there's downs. So if you're new, I'm here to show you how to do technical analysis the proper way. I'm going to show you all the supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns that I see, talk about EMA lines, RSI, stochastic, vortex, all those kinds of great things. I'll show you what your favorite TikToker sees, or what your favorite Facebook person sees, or what your favorite YouTuber is. I should be your favorite YouTuber, though. Thumbnail candy right there. If you're an intermediate trader and you are a poor soul who bought 15 tech stocks and thought that you were diverse and you got hammered this week, first of all, my prayers with you. I hope your family's eating. I hope you're okay. But you just bought an ETF individually and it probably hurt. If you only have 3 stocks and you're not a beginner trying to get into this and you have like a bunch of money, like $10,000 in 2 stocks and that's it, you're making bad decisions. So I'm here to show you how to diversify and all those kinds of things. Today I have 8 really good plays. Now, I say they're really good with a caveat. If the S&P ends beneath 3,800, it did bounce off 3,700, but if it holds beneath 3,800, you gotta be so careful until it gets back above there and gets it back above the 50 EMA line. Until we're above the 50 EMA, or until we're above that old support, we're still in the downtrend. So I need you to definitely chart this yourself. I'll show you. I already filmed the video for the Discord people. I'll show you what we're looking at, but you need to make sure that you're being safe and that you're making good decisions. Last time I filmed, my hair was messed up and no one told me, so I'm glad we look okay right now. I'm keeping this in so you know that it's real. Oh God, I got diet green probably. So it's not good for the market. So with that being said, if you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification down below. If you like this content a lot, we have a really nice community of folks. It's at 250 right now of really good people. I think 300 I might cap it off and just call it a day because what I got. Those are my people, right? So you have some time to get in if you want to. No pressure. If you want to just have this kind of relationship online, that's totally fine too. I'm here for you. But we do a lot of great stuff. Morning briefings. I give them a whole entire newsletter at nighttime. They get the videos early. Some folks, I had a coffee hour today with one other of my VIP members. Really good time. Every time I've done it, I've done like 5 or 6 times now with people. It's always been a blast, right? So they get a lot of great confidence. They get some great advice. I get to reflect on some stuff. If that sounds interesting, look into it. I'm not the type of salesman I'd be like, you have to join. You don't. You really don't. Last thing I'm going to mention before we get into the video, I should only be one pillar of your trading technique. I would argue, I got a little mark there from the allergies. I'm top 5 educational swing trader. Fuck. Hot news, right? I'm claiming shit. I think I'm definitely up there with swing trading, especially with your risk versus reward for 9 to 5 people. The market of folks who have a job who want to swing trade, I'm definitely up there. There's plenty of you who are day traders. I do have some setups that are great day trades. I called 4 yesterday. It was up 10% at opening, right? I do have some that are great setups for that, but you should never rely simply on me. You need to go talk to other people. There's great channels. There's also great newsletters. There's great people, right? Please do not think that I have to be your end all be all. I really shouldn't, right? I also check other people's stuff too. So I should be one pillar. I should be a piece of the foundation for a beginner. But again, please reach out to others. Please comment down below whatever you guys may need. I'm here to help. So that being said, let's get into it, shall we? Like I'm Joshua Wiseman.
Now, with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
So again, above us, we have our best list, which is known as Poop. We have 8 stocks on it, and beneath it are some other really good plays you can play. again, the main focus of what I want to talk about, again, are the bear ETFs moving forward. And that's going to be a big point of contention for how this day and how this week may end. Before we get in these stocks, though, let's check some stuff out real quick. So first is the S&P, and I have quite a few folks who probably want me to look at this real quick. 3,800 and then 3,700 are going to be our strong support areas. It appears that we're having a rally back, and it looks like it tapped off, and this is 230. And so I guess some folks are getting their money back, at least a little bit. But again, if it breaks beneath here, it's not going to be a good sign. And usually you want to look at the S&P and such on the 1 year chart usually. That's usually what you want to go off of for a lot of these things, like for 50 bounces. And as we can see, it just destroyed the 50. And like we can see last time it did that, it came right back when it bounced off of it. But over here, it does come back. It's come back twice now, right? So am I like super-duper freaked out? No, like I'm not going to be having a heart attack. But to think that it's going to just tomorrow come right back, I don't think so. Right, it had red, and then, it got lower, and then it got greener. And then, of course, over here we had like, a great 2-week rally. It was insane. So like, do I say buy the dip? Yeah, I mean, if you have some good long-term stocks, maybe buy the dip as it gets closer to 3,700. But if it keeps getting lower and lower and lower and lower, your next support really is going to be around 3,650. I would surmise it's probably closer to 3,600. So if this does break tomorrow and it keeps breaking, you don't want to buy any dips, you don't want to buy anything, hold on some bear ETFs. When it starts to turn around, then you can start doing that. If we see some really quick green tomorrow, like if it gets really hype stocks, instead of buying the dip, you should sell the rip. And if it gets super high in some stocks and some folks are pumping the money, you should get ready to short those, right? I don't mean short them hard, but like look into some stocks that may, after big moves, you kind of get in some bear ETFs. There's that. Again, the S&P 100 did the same exact thing, not looking great. The NASDAQ is just completely shit in the bed, beyond all belief. This too, again, is coming right down to 1220, which would be surmisable and comparable to 3,700 on the S&P. Still coming down, not looking great. And then the Russell 2000, again, is a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I like small cap stocks for a reason. They're a little bit better and more primed for movement, and you can see it is holding the 50. So if we do have this RUT above the 50, then we can kind of look at some small cap stocks and see what we can do if there's some green. But overall, market's not looking good. I mean, on my little Discord chat, all week I've been saying look out for some bear ETFs. They're up, 11%. SQQQ is up, what, like a good modest 20? Yeah, up 20. LabD is going crazy. It's up, like, again, 35. So I'm not saying go buy them right now, but if we see tomorrow the jobs report's negative, which I assume it's going to be not great, you need to watch SPXU, SQQ, and LabD tomorrow. And if they are good and we see like a bunch of sentiment rally, well, then we can go over to, SPY-G is good, BIB is going to be good, TQQQ will be good, UPRO will be good, maybe URTY will be good, right? If we see some good movement, may want to buy into these. But again, with all these supports breaking, I would definitely stay flush with cash if I'm newer. If you're a new trader, sit in the sidelines, right? There's no point in you getting involved just to get burned. As I tell some other folks, it makes a lot more sense to me to focus other skills if you have no experience in the market while this is happening. So if you are afraid of what the market's going to do, definitely give it a few days. Focus on scanning. Focus on making a journal. Focus on something else, right? You don't got to get involved. But if you are confident, I do have some stocks that are at fantastic values. So let's get into those. So first is AVLR. It's a good setup. Do I think it's like great? Yeah, the trend line's breaking. As I said, a lot of stocks are coming down. The beauty of most of these picks is that it's a really good risk versus reward, and that's what the goal has to be in this kind of market. So we can kind of scroll over here, and we can scroll over here, and we can see the support is super strong right in this area, right? It survived once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Now, I would definitely be much more conservative, so I'm going to take this, and now I'm going to move it down. So that's probably closer to our support area, and we're a good 1.3% away, so just give it some time. Let's give it a minute. If we see a green candle, right? We see a green one tomorrow. So far, every time we've seen a reversal, it's come with a nice small green candle. If you see a green one tomorrow, all right, consider going long. But you don't see a green one, just wait. You're easily wasting or betting 2.7% on this play, and it has plenty of room to run up. So it's a good risk versus reward. It's a very solid support area. So if there's a stock that's going to reverse, I would assume AVLR will be up there for one that may reverse pretty nicely. And again, if you're a beginner, don't just rush in and buy everything. This is supposed to be a watch list show. This is a great example of what I would look for in this market, right? It has a horizontal channel. You know, the POC's probably shifted up. See, it'll probably shift up here soon. It's looking pretty good. Let's check the indicators. What's cool is that I only do the indicators with you guys, so I haven't looked at these before, so we can look over these together. So first is our EMA lines are both above. They will be resistances. And again, if you want to wait for it to kind of cross over both of them again, that's fine. You'll make money when it crosses above both. But how far away is that? Weeks. So don't plan on that. Play off some value. A good value buy right here. If it does die, it's going to come right back down into the 120s, the 119s. We'd be cut by then and then buy back in. It is oversold. You would have made money. You would have not made money. Well, you would have made money temporarily. Would have made money in the long term. Would have made money off a nice. You would have bought in and been up about 8%. So that's a great sign of where it's at there. Stochastic is stupid low and it's starting to kind of curl. We want to see that kind of happen. And then the vortex doesn't get much lower than this. So again, a 10 out of 10 play. But given the market structure, I would very much advise you to take your time. Do not rush in. Make sure to show some green first. And again, if we don't have any green, do not touch this. No. Look at these. No green tomorrow. We look at these. SH, SPXU, SQQQ, LabD. But for now, if it does go green, AVLR, good pickup. Next is Boulder BLDR, and you know, maybe it's going to be a wedge. Like maybe it's wedging just a little bit, and maybe it's making a nice channel up. You can't tell yet. Maybe that's going to be the wedge, but it cuts through price action, so maybe not. But this is a really great uptrend, and again, the goal of this play isn't to break the bank and make a bunch of money. It is to be a nice risk-averse little boy or girl. So you can see it does consolidate in channel, right? It does consolidate inside the channel. We're in here for 1 day. Okay, this last one took 5 days. This last one took 8 days. We've been in here 12 hours. So let's not just pull, let's not just pull the gun. If we have a good jobs report tomorrow, I don't think we will, but if we do have a good jobs report tomorrow, maybe this takes off. But again, what's the risk? You buy in now. Conservatively, if you get nervous, you cut it at $41, right? It gets a lower low, you cut it, you can buy back in later. Confidently, you're risking 4%, but you can easily make, even right here, 2.5%, easy 5%, and a full long-term hold 10% and a nice big move. So good risk reward, very clear play. It's very clear. It looks really good here. Let's check the indicators. We can see that the 200's where it likes to bounce off of, right, consistently. Would it be smart to wait for that? Yeah, I think so. I mean, this market, yeah, I would definitely wait for a 200 bounce here. It just had earnings, so it ran up, and it's coming back down. That makes sense. Let it come down farther. All right, the RSI isn't very convincing in this market. It's not down to where you want it to be yet. The stock is low and Vortex is crossed red. We're going to be in here for a few days. So BLDR is going to take maybe 3 or 4 days probably, consolidating, going back and forth, a wick tapping this or a candle tapping this, and then taking off. So give BLDR until about Monday for sure, but it's a great one to watch for the rest of the week and into next week. Next is CHGG. It's been on my watch list a lot. I called it first over here, and I called it over here, and then over here. So I've been calling it a lot, and then I saw it die, and I was like, you bastard. So the reason CHGG is a great setup is that it's a head and shoulders, which people don't like, right? You don't want to buy into this usually. That's definitely what looks like a head and shoulders. But it only counts if it breaks beneath this line. So if this does cross beneath this $85, $86 line here, yeah, then it's definitely looking like a head and shoulders. But if it does survive here, which oftentimes it does, it has to clear the necktie. So if it doesn't get down here, you're good. And that's only 2.5% away. If it gets down here, definitely wouldn't want to buy in. It's still technically downtrending, right? We have a obvious downtrend going on right now, right? So I'm definitely not saying buy CHGG right now at this second. I'm just saying let's see if it consolidates sideways, right? There's going to be a good chance it's going to consolidate sideways and then test this resistance line. So when you're trying to buy CHGG, it's like CRSR, I said yesterday. It's still in a downtrend, You should buy it if it can move sideways and break above this line. The same thing applies with CHGG. This isn't ready yet. It's still a really good value. If you wanted to buy in now, you certainly could. You're only risking like 2 or 3%. But, you know, with the market structure, again, even on a good consolidation move, 4, 5, 6%, I want to see what it can do. If it does live here and makes a new floor, you'll be at the ground floor of it all. So it's a good low risk, high reward play. Again, just let it break the resistance line if you're more risk averted, and let's see what it can do. Let's check the indicators. So obvious source Rex, it's broken all EMA lines, duh, all these have been getting broken. The good news is that it's oversold. Last time it was oversold, you would have seen a nice day move of 8%. The last time it was oversold over here, made money. What did it make, buddy? So plenty of good signs on that. All indicators are super low. So yeah, I think it may move sideways here and make a new ground floor. But again, in this price, then this price structure in this market, I would definitely give it a day or two to see what the SPY is going to do and what the NASDAQ is going to do first. So EDU is doing what I wanted it to do already, so that's more risk for us, but a good sign of confirmation. It's such a beautiful uptrend. Like it's just such a snack. Now every time it's reversed hard and made good moves upwards, it's been at the channel line almost every time. And we can see at supports, it does make big day trading moves. Like it does make good 6%, 7%, 7%, right here, 4%. So you have a good chance of making money here. I'm just convinced it's going to come back down and tap this line, right? I think you can get it for $5 or $6 cheaper before you really buy in. And this line right here is our first resistance area. So you're maybe going to make 2% if you want to jump in now. You could. I think EDU long-term is a fantastic play. But I want to see what it's going to do. I did see it when it was just a red candle, but since the market's kind of turning around, just for the day, it looks pretty good. But obvious uptrend, obvious support. Let it come down a little bit cheaper. And when it does, a 10 out of 10 play. Let's check the indicators. So it's bouncing off the 200 for sure. Right click, clear drawing set, bada boom. You can see it's bouncing right off the 200 where you want it to be. So that may be a signal for you to go long because you want to use that as your stop loss. All right, 2.5%, 2.75 for a lower low over here. That's not a lot of risk at all, given for a long-term hold can easily see 12, 15, 16% over a few weeks, maybe a month. It could be a little bit lower on the RSI, but it is definitely low, and it reverses around here. Stochastic is, could be a tad bit lower, but it may start curling north and showing us some life. Stochastic wants to go green here. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. On some saying it's a great value, and some are saying it's a fair value. What's more important, EMA lines and price action or risk? I think you have a little bit too much risk here, given how the week's been going. To me, feeling super duper comfortable taking it, but it's a really good low risk play. Like a lot of these, it can make you a good amount of money. But again, until I really see a market correction, I'm not too certain for a long-term hold. Sorry. I'm not too certain for a long-term hold in this one until I see some life. So next is GLW, Corning Inc., because that rhymes, I guess. It's a great uptrend, right? Lower high or higher low, higher low, higher low, higher lows, higher lows. And right here, we're kind of testing that. So again, very low risk. If it does break makes lower lows here, that's a good nervous person stop loss. Like, I don't like that. And if you're really confident in this, you can probably put it down here at 3.5% and have plenty of room for that to happen. We just had a dividend, which again should have done more money than not yet. So it went up because of it. So that's already done and gone. Earnings was a while ago. We're clear from that bullshit finally. So this is a really good pickup, good support. Now, again, showing life here. Will there possibly be this as a support if it can hold above this? See how it's holding above it? This can then be your support area, right? So if you're super nervous, then you can move this up probably a little bit to like here and consider this to be your new support area. And then you can use that as your nervous person cut and then be a little bit lower. So a good uptrend. It's wedging a little bit, but it's a really nice setup. Easily you can see 5, 10, 15%. On a long-term hold, easily 5. In the meantime, betting 1 or 2 against it. A good setup. Let's check the indicators. So it's trying to get back above the 200. If you want to wait for that, you want to wait for a 200 crossover and let it get above it and hold. Not a horrible idea at all, because then you can use the 200 and this support as your stop loss, and then again you're only betting 2% if it does do that. 50, again, if you want to wait for a cross above both of them, you will make money when that happens. The RSI was about to be oversold at negative 30, but it's kind of curling up, which you want to see. You want to see some price strength before you buy in. Would have made money. Would have made money. So if it can get a tad bit lower and then reverse, that's fine. The stochastic is dummy low. Vortex is dummy low. Again, it's definitely going to take a day or two, I think, to reverse fully. It does consolidate at the bottom, right? It takes its time, comes back. It took its time, came back. So I wouldn't rush into this, but GLW is a good setup. It's a good low-risk play. I like it a lot. I know. Before everyone calls me a fake, like, oh, he's calling out a blue chip. Well, I'm calling out blue chip because it kind of makes sense in this aspect, right? This is a super clear support area, okay? I don't like to call blue chips because you already know much about them, but even I would say this is a good deal. So over here, if it does break down tomorrow, you can use this support as a stop loss. You can bet 3 or 5% on this, but you could easily see 10, 15, or 20. This is not a hype stock kind of play. It's definitely getting beat down because of earnings, and we're seeing some life down here. This is a good place to buy in. If you're already in, maybe buy the dip on this one. But again, it needs to have a strong stop loss. This whole area right here looks really pretty. It does. So if you want to really do this justice, you have to really put the stop loss about 6% away. That's a lot of risk, so I wouldn't, just put it on anybody. Obvious downtrend, you want to wait for it to get above this line. That's, again, a fine move. We can see that this also looks like it's pretty even. So you may see lows of like $35, $34 before it really reverses around. So don't just jump in because it's a blue chip. But again, if you like blue chips and also Doritos, those are also really good chips. No, this is a good deal on a good stock. I don't love blue chip stocks. The more hype it is, the worse it usually does. But it's a good pickup nonetheless. So like most of these plays, you could have bought the 200, but now it's like, well, I guess the play is actually going to be value. These are too far away to even matter right now. RSI is oversold. Last time it happened, we made money. Last time over here, we've been burned, so that's not a great sign. And then over here, we would have made money eventually. Actually, it would have been a nice day trade. So that's a promising sign, but not great. Stochastic is low. Vortex is low. Again, it's a 10 out of 10, but with the indices, how they're looking, again, be cautious, but NIO, it's a good setup. It's just, 6% risking for 20% return. It's not bad. Next is SGEN. I actually want to call SGEN over here, and I'm glad I didn't. It just completely crapped the bed. But now SGEN is definitely where you want to buy into. You look at the 1 year, and you can see this is a super strong support area. And again, what's it do? Oh, gee willikers, it's going to consolidate for 11 days, and then 11 days. And we've been down here for a whole 8 days, but closer to like 3. So this has time, all right? But you have a great value. It's a lot like ELP. Oh boy, that was doing well today until it didn't. So we called it over here, said it consolidates. See how it consolidates? Consolidates, consolidates, consolidates. You're going to be hopefully holding this for 10 to 15 days. But you could easily see 9% on a bad move, closer to 13 on an average one, and a good move will get you about 21%. And what are you risking? If it gets down to like 140, get rid of it, right? That's about 3%. I'd even say, 142, 143. It doesn't live here, get rid of it, buy back in later. So super low risk, super high reward, good horizontal channel action. I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So the RSI is beautiful, right? You would have seen every single time it gets kind of lower, it really gets down here. And again, you would have made money here, would have made money, would have made money, would have made some money. Now this is definitely a much different shape sell-off than these. This kind of looks similar, doesn't it? But again, at the end of every one of these, what's it do? Consolidates, up, consolidates, oh, consolidates, down, consolidates. So you may be down here for a few days, no one freak out. Stochastic is low but curling green, and we've had some green volume coming in, and red's been just higher. But again, that's also going to start coming down. So we can see a green crossover, Gucci. I love it a lot. So SGEN, a great setup, super low risk, just have a stop loss, and you'll be good to go. Next and last is THMC. We can see if we duplicate this bad boy. It's actually a really nice channel up right now. That's a great sign. So even though it's a little bit higher than I want it to be because it's actually showing some life, you're only risking 3 or 4% right here, right? Even this is like a horizontal play, a new channel, right? Risk 2% at most, 4 or 5%. But you got plenty of room to run here. It's a good setup. Again, it had earnings and it got beat down, so we're not out of the woods yet. This is not exactly the greatest looking candle ever. But we see some green tomorrow. It could be a good buy-in. It's just I wish it was lower, but I guess the buyback and the bounce we're having is making this a little bit harder to read. But THMC is a good pickup. Let's check the indicators. So it breaks the 200. What's it do? It comes back. So you want to wait for it to cross back above the 200. It's not a bad call at all. It doesn't really get too oversold, and when it does, it seems to be like very, very small period sell-offs. And so we're definitely down where you want it to be. Stochastic is down and curling north. The vortex is down and curling north. Curling, yeah, north. So a good setup. Not my favorite, but if it was lower, it would be my favorite. But it's a good setup, a good long-term hold. I like it a lot. And there you guys have it. 8 really good plays for tomorrow. Now let me preface again. Fridays are notorious for selling off the weekend holds. We're in a downtrend, and all this shit just broke. All right, unless by 4 o'clock, and it's 2:56. Unless by 4 o'clock the S&P 500 NASDAQ miraculously come back above 800, I'm not overly excited about that. Now it's showing a super weird green candle. So is there hope tomorrow? Yeah, there's definitely hope that we can see some green ones for the ones you're already holding. But I would be super, super cautious buying anything tomorrow. That's just me being honest. If it shows some red early, yeah, you should look for some bear ETFs to buy into, as I talked about. But be cautious. You don't want to be jumping in to bet with all of these because it's a good deal. Buying the dip makes sense on long-term holds. It doesn't make sense on short-term holds. If you bought a short-term stock and it messed up, cut it, get out now, buy back in later, right? Some folks say buy the dip. And again, if this continues with the off-selling, I'm saying we're going to have to sell the rip. So as it kind of goes up like this, you may get ready to buy into more bear ETFs until we see a real directional change. With that being said, our intermediate traders, I have some more picks for you. Got some good-looking ones. If you are new and you're a beginner, just look at these educationally. Do not buy into these. But let's check these out for our intermediate players. So if you're new here, new kid, we know that I don't turn off the indicators during this section because I trust my trusty little boys to do the right thing and make the right decisions. So ADC, I called it earlier. I called it over here. Said it's a pretty good deal, and it did what I wanted. Now it's back over here, and I'm saying, hey, it's still a really good deal. Worst case, lose 1.5%. You can make 6%. That's a good risk versus reward. Super obvious horizontal channel. You're at the best possible value. You could have gotten in lower, but again, we're in a nice low area. Stochastic curling up. RSI is curling up. Vortex into kind of curl. But it's a great deal. Low risk. I like it a lot. BMY, we called a while ago. This is actually a really nice medical play. It's right at the bottom. It ran up super nicely to 5%, which I hope we would have gotten more out of. But that's a super strong resistance. It kind of makes sense. And now we're back down here again. We're risking, at most, 1.5%, 2% maybe. You could easily see another 5% move, if not more. It has plenty of room to run up. The price targets haven't changed any lower. It's just having a hard time getting above this area. But BMY is a great value play. The channel's still looking good. The support's right there. Super low risk, pretty good reward. I like it a lot. Next is CANF. Looking at this channel, it's a great channel. Now again, this is a very volatile channel. You can make easily 20% in a few days. You could easily lose up to 17% on a bad move, closer to 8%. So if you're a beginner trader, do not touch this. If you're an intermediate trader, proceed with caution. I would definitely wait for it to get above the 10 EMA. Right, I would definitely wait for it to get above at least that. If we can get above that, then we can talk in some business for a day trade. Wait for that to go long at least. It's still downtrending. You know, obviously it's downtrending. If you look at just the this, it's definitely like a super nice but very even keeled downtrend. And then you can come up from here and say, all right, it's definitely still going. So don't get too hasty, but it could be a good pickup for you guys in the future. CTIC is a lot like Nvidia, but like the dollar version of it. See, Nvidia is a really, really nice horizontal stock. It's shit in the bed like everything else though. But CTIC looks very similar, right? It's moving sideways, looking real good. What's the risk? Okay, maybe 5%, which is a lot for some people for sure. But what are you going to gain? Even on a bad move is like 10%. So it's really high reward, fairly medium risk. And again, given the price structure, do your due diligence. The biopharma company, I don't know what they're doing exactly, but let's be very cautious moving forward. It does consolidate down here. It could take a few days, but we see some green moving up. Could be a great purchase. CTLT is right at this trend line support, but this was based off the 200. See how it's based off the 200 really well? Well, that broke. So does this really apply? Well, we're going to have to see. It's at a support. It's oversold. Stock is low. Again, it's a 10 out of 10. But the 200 breaking's a bit nerve-wracking, and I already called it. So I guess on a good move, you can see 7, 10, 15% pretty easily, but you lose 3 or 5%. So I've called it before. It's exactly where you want to buy it at. Like, this is definitely like the juxtaposition you want to be in, where the most you're losing 2%, and you can make some good money off it. So it's CTLT. I've called it before, but it's a good pickup. Next is FNKO. Some folks made fun of FNKO when I called it last because it's a goofy looking company. But FNKO prints, man, it's doing pretty good. Will this uptrend last forever? Nope, and when it goes away, I will be sad. But it's a very obvious uptrend looking really good here. Super low risk. Again, if you want to buy off the channel, 2.5%. If you want to wait for that to tap, and then bet 2.8%. So you don't have that much risk going into this. It's at a great value. If we do see a good bounce from here and it goes green, you can run up 20, 30% on FNKO in a week really easily. So all the indicators look good. RSI could be a tad bit lower. Stock could be a tad bit lower. It may take a few days down here. And if it does break, don't touch it. But FNKO is a good setup. Next is Guess, the jean and clothing company. It looks good. This is a nice channel up, right? Once, twice, 3 times, faux, fifth, and now 6th time. So it's at a great value. Like I keep saying, worst case Ontario, 4.5% is what you're going to lose, but it could easily make you 10, 15, 12% on a nice good move. RSI could be a tad bit lower. Stock is low. Vortex is low. Both are angled up and north. So if it's a good green morning tomorrow, like we have a good bounce back from today's terribleness, this could be a fantastic play. More risk, more reward. So again, if you're more of an intermediate trader, I trust you make the right decision with this one. Next is MSI. It's a great pickup, but again, it bounces closer to the 200. And what's the profit? 5, 6, 7% in a long-term hold. You're risking about, 2. So it's a good long-term play. It's an intermediate trade just because the profit is a little bit lower. You can definitely double this line though and bring it up and see that it's, a fairly good-looking channel, but not so great. So I'd probably make this a wedge. And so you're going to have to lower your reward because of that. Maybe it's going to hit 6%. So not a great setup. It's a good setup. It's a really good deal. But, risk versus reward, it's not doing it for me compared to other stocks, but still pretty good. Next is Nova, like Novocaine. It's looking pretty good. This is a great support area once again. So what's the risk, right? It had earnings, and it's still technically coming down. Let's wait for some green. Look at this. Bull shape, bull shape, bull shape, takeoff. Right? Nice little dagger, took its time. So I would definitely give it a day or two, but Nova has plenty of upward mobility. Worst case, if it all breaks down, you lost 5%, which is a good chunk for some folks. So I would definitely wait for it to show some life, but given the support area alone, RSI is almost oversold, stock is low, Vortex is dummy low. Everything says it's a great pickup. It's just more volatile. I see no reason to rush into stock with this kind of price action and market structure. Let's give it a day or two. Next is RH. It just broke the 200. It's done that before. It definitely has a good area of support over here. Good area of support right over here. It's showing some life. Right now, if you were to go for it, you're at the risk about 6%, maybe 4 or 5%. But you could easily see a move of 15% right back up to here. So I like it a lot. All the indicators say it's really low and kind of curling. So again, this could be a good play. It does take its time consolidating, then reversing. But every time it's reversed, we've seen a green candle, right? Green candle, and then it takes off. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, one green one, then it really jumped off. So if it does show some green tomorrow, it could be a good day trade for sure. But again, it's just more risky than a beginner play. WDAY is a fantastic pickup. And now that we're having a small bit of a bounce, it's exactly where we want it to be. You may see that your stop loss needs to be probably about 220, 4%, but you could easily run up 10, 15, 10, 5% really easily here, even with the indicators off because it's a little bit easier to see. Price action wise, it's beautiful. Now it's a broadening top, it's a broadening wedge. This will not last forever. You can't expect it to come up to here. It's not going to happen. Can you expect it to come up to 255 though? Yeah. So WDAY, a great setup. It should be a beginner one for sure. It looks really good. But again, just given the hard sell-off from earnings, I definitely want to get an intermediate to play. But this is definitely a great pickup nonetheless. And our last one is a Spider S&P fund. Again, this looks a little bit different than the other S&P ones. It's holding above the 200, which gives me faith, right? So if this does hold here, it did come on to, now it's holding here. If this happens, it could be a really good choice for you for a bull ETF to buy into. If it does hold, I'll definitely look into it. And it's just a simple ETF play. If it's green tomorrow, buy it. If it's red, don't touch it. And there you guys have it. You have 8 really good plays, a bunch of extra really goodies, and some intermediate plays in there. Again, I cannot stress enough. If you are a beginner, you have like 3 options. Play the stocks and not be as confident as you always are. Buy bear ETFs when it goes red, or wait. And I think a lot of traders who are online would be like, "I'll teach you how to make $1 million." No. No, they're not. And no, I can't. I can't just teach you how to pick up the stock market and make a billionaire. But I can teach you is some good game plans and secondary game plans. Right now, it looks like we're having a bounce. If we can break back above 3,800 on the S&P and hold, okay, that's a good sign, right? But we're still in the downtrend. We just broke the 50 MA line. We just broke a bunch of shit. We're not going to rush in, okay? There's going to be more stocks tomorrow and next week. There's going to be more stocks later. We have the jobs report tomorrow. Jerome Powell just didn't do us any favors. There's no point to rush in, okay? There's no reason to go crazy and be like, I have to buy stocks. I have to buy everything. You don't, right? So let's give it a day or two. If you're in my Discord, I'll give you a whole morning briefing what we're looking at. If that sounds great to you, look into joining. No pressure. I get it. But with that being said, have a good rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys on Sunday for another episode. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. But again, I must insist, if you do not know what you're doing, if you're scared, if bear ETFs freak you out, there's absolutely nobody forcing you to trade. When I was playing basketball in college, I was a walk-on. Shocking, right? At D1, I got no playing time, don't ask. Sad. When I was doing that, you could practice shooting, you can practice passing, you can practice by studying. The same thing can be applied to trading, right? You don't have to buy stocks to get better. You can practice your scanning, you can practice technical analysis of ones that you trust, you can practice a lot of different things. And so I would suggest if you are nervous, you should take some days off to study and get better at something. That's it. Have a good rest of your Thursday. We'll see you guys later for the episode. Thanks.